Would you tell me if you cried when you got your ear pierced?
I definitely didn't. It didn't even hurt that bad.
It did not hurt that bad. It hurt less than like a shot.
Much less than a shot, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's because the shots are like a long fucking needle going straight into your arm.
Yeah.
Whereas like getting your ear pierced is just like...
It's a very, very, very short and sweet procedure, actually.
Yeah. So how was it?
I feel like it was optimal.
Optimal.
Given that now I have metal in a hole in my ear that was not previously there. Optimal.
Optimal. Do you have any other metal? Any hip replacements, given your age?
No.
And I'm assuming you don't have silver or gold fillings because you probably have modern fillings that look like teeth. Mm-hmm. Have you ever gotten a cavity?
Plenty of times, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't get a filling, I got a crown.
Oh.
But I think it was a crown. I don't know really what it was. It looks like a tooth, though.
So it's not metal?
No.
So, for context for our listeners, because we're not even really podcasting yet, Rashad got his ear pierced today.
Ears.
That's what I said.
I thought you said ear.
Ears pierced today.
Okay.
I slur and mumble all my words. And how did the experience go in total?
The experience was optimal. I now have my ears punctured.
And the reason I'm asking is because I'm like the authority to him, even though I'm like one of the lesser authorities on getting your ear pierced, because I have like one of my ear piercing that happened like in February. Mm-hmm. So this podcast is older than my piercing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Welcome to Outrospection, everybody.
Welcome to Outrospection.
We're your hosts. I'm Hayden Bittinger.
I'm Rashad Davis.
And this is Outrospection.
This is Outrospection. This is going to be really confusing for someone's first episode.
I would hope that this isn't their first episode.
What if it is?
That would suck. So, let me give you the rundown on what's happening right now in this moment. Mm-hmm. So, if you've noticed the titles of our episodes for these...
All right. We're just gonna discuss this right now.
Yeah, we might as well just discuss it right now.
Are we gonna name them after the
I'm good with it if you're good with it.
I don't know if I want to call an episode Purple Rain.
Why?
Because Purple Rain is hype. Purple Rain is a big thing to live up to.
Then let that be the season finale.
It is the season finale.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not called Purple Rain. It's not called Purple Rain because Purple Rain. It's called Purple Rain because of the way that we're recording the episodes. And it's not really like, I feel like you're reading way too much into it.
That is true. That is very true. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah. So the songs are what would be the order? The particular order?
This order would be "I Would Die for You," "Baby I'm a Star," and then "Purple Rain."
Yeah, so if you notice, those are the titles for these 3 episodes, or however many episodes are out at the time that you're listening to this, in this moment, right here, right now. We could release them all at the same time.
I could, but I'm not going to. That wouldn't be smart. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us more time. So if I release one episode tomorrow, right? And then one like 2 weeks later, then one 2 weeks after that, then one 2 weeks after that. But they're all recorded in the same time period.
I thought we were doing 3 episodes.
Yeah, but we still have that one we haven't released.
Oh, that's true.
We have episode 14.
Uh-huh.
We're recording 15 before we've even released 14.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
Explain why we're doing what we're doing.
Today is my last day here. Mm-hmm. I am tomorrow, as of the time that I'm recording this, I am about to make the official move to Howard University to begin my time as a scholar at Howard University. And we checked the agenda and we still had 3 more episodes left that we had to record. So rather than trying to fit 3 hour-length sessions within the week, just because of how hectic the week is, just because of how close we both are to our college moves, we decided that we were going to record 3 sort of mini episodes. Not really mini episodes, but mini episodes.
Yeah.
And so this is the first mini episode of the 3 mini episodes. This is epic. It's never been done before except for when it's been done before.
Well, when has it been done before, and why we're doing it why we're naming them the things that we're naming them?
It's been done before by... You should take this one.
So on August 3rd, 1983, Prince and the Revolution. I feel bad because we always talk about Prince.
You shouldn't feel bad because we always talk about Prince.
I do, because...
You always talk about Prince.
I don't. Last time I did not bring him up. When we talked album covers, you brought him up.
Really?
Yes.
But the point is that you're a Prince fan. We all, this is established. It's well established.
It is well established. But anyway, so in August 3rd, 1983, while Prince was making Purple Rain, the album and the movie, he had a performance on the First Avenue nightclub in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That was a charity event for the Minnesota Dance Academy, in which they raised $25,000. And that night, he premiered really 4 songs, but 3 that were big at the time. That recordings were super important. He premiered "I Would Die for You," "Baby I'm a Star," and "Purple Rain," which are the last 3 tracks on the Purple Rain album. Mm-hmm. And those recordings that were recorded from that live set were the ones that were later edited and used as the official recordings on the album. And when you listen to Purple Rain through whatever means, that is the recording you're hearing. And those, songs were all recorded in the span of 70 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the set list for the night actually was "Let's Go Crazy," "When You Were Mine," "A Case of You," "Computer Blue," "Delirious," "Electric Intercourse," "Automatic," "I Would Die for You," "Baby I'm a Star," "Little Red Corvette," "Purple Rain," and "Dance Music, Sex, Romance." Now, we're just going to do the 3 that were featured on Purple Rain because the rest were just kind of songs of the night. And you don't want to go straight from "Baby I'm a Star" to "Purple Rain." That's why you notice in the movie it goes from "Purple Rain," then he does "I Would Die for You, Baby I'm a Star." Mm-hmm. Because "I Would Die for You" fits better, even though it's a dance track, than like from the rock ballad that is "Purple Rain" to the funk jam that is "Baby I'm a Star." Mm-hmm. And also live, he did "Baby I'm a Star," "Little Red Corvette," which is another kind of rock dance track that could sequence better than going straight from "Baby I'm a Star" to "Purple Rain." Mm-hmm. But that is it. But actually on the album, it goes straight from "Baby I'm a Star" to "Purple Rain."
Interesting.
The weird thing is that it doesn't diminish Purple Rain's effect. And I normally you don't try and get a hype track like "Baby I'm a Star," which is literally like a Prince hype track. Like it's just like funk, dancing, live awesomeness, right? Mm-hmm. And a track like "Purple Rain," which is really serious and sad and powerful. But he did it and it worked. So there you go. So this was Rashad's idea, actually.
Yes, I like having ideas. I feel like...
It's very rare.
No, it's not. Anyway...
no, it's not. I am Rashad. I have all the ideas.
I'm not going to say I have all the ideas, but I have all of my ideas.
Except for that one time you covered a Kendrick Lamar song. Actually, that was twice.
I didn't even cover a Kendrick Lamar song. I just rapped over the beat of a Kendrick Lamar song.
So you covered it. Actually, covers are like the reverse of that.
Covers mean that I'm going to rap what Kendrick wrote, and rap what I wrote over Kendrick's beats.
That's true. But also, covers mostly are lyrical than they are actual composition-wise. Mm-hmm. But
anyway, so these episodes are all just going to be recorded in the span of this segment of time. This session. This is probably the last time Hayden and I are going to hang out.
For a while. Actually, did I tell you about my fall break? Mm-hmm. Which is in October. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. Yeah. But
last time before
we go to college,
this is going to be this is the last time we're hanging. So you guys are actually witnessing a moment here. Mm-hmm. You're witnessing like the capping of like a 7-year friendship while we're in the same place living. Not capping. We're not ending our friendship.
I was about to start crying. I'm not
gonna just stop being friends with you.
Yeah, I'd be really, especially because of our secret plans.
Yes.
Rashad is confused, but they don't need to know. They don't need to know about the casino heist.
Don't tell them anything else
about the casino heist.
And nothing else about the casino heist.
That's on September 20th. That will be overshadowed by the Area 51 raid. Why would you tell someone the day that you're gonna raid a government facility? Isn't the element surprise how you're supposed to beat Thanos?
The government's Thanos?
Yeah.
Okay. So, important question. When are we releasing the leprechaun strippers into the wild?
Never.
Never?
It's too dangerous.
Okay. Well, I had some stuff I wanted to talk about within these episodes.
All right.
So, first episode, just based on when I'm recording it, I don't typically come on here and try and use this as a platform as an artist, because I kind of look at these as separate entities, even though they're all within my same kind of personal brand. Mm-hmm. But in case you don't follow me specifically on Instagram and you're not connected to my
I don't follow you on Instagram.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do.
In case you're not connected to my social media, just for the sake of full transparency, because I kind of wanted to come on here and actually speak about it, about how everything went down.
I agree, you should.
For the past roughly 2 years, I think I can safely say 2 years at this point right now, I've been working on an album called The Runaway Kid. Hayden,
I'm glad we're finally calling it an album. After it's dead.
I'm not gonna call it an album.
You said album already. You can't take it back.
You see, I wrote album with stars around it.
Yeah.
Post.
Stars.
I've been working on it, for lack of a better word,
An album
called The Runaway Kid, and it was like really intentional, very kind of hardcore, just like time and energy that I kind of put into a lot of these concepts that I was trying to go into. A lot of things that I really wanted to talk about at the time that I really felt like I was really connected to and that I was really passionate about. And after 2 years of working on it, I am officially making the statement that I am shelving that album permanently. Or indefinitely. Indefinitely, I'll say indefinitely. I'm permanently though. Because if I were to decide to do an album with the same concept or similar concept again, or anything similar within that kind of range of ideas, mm-hmm. it couldn't be the same. Yeah. So permanently, but indefinitely, I don't know. The Runaway Kid album is not happening.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a certain point in the summer, and I know we announced on earlier episodes that I was executive producing when I realized that it wouldn't get done. From like technical stuff and just where you were at in your life.
I feel like we both kind of did silently come to the conclusion that it just wasn't going to happen.
I came to the conclusion in June, so.
I came to the conclusion. Yeah, I did too. Really. Yeah. As soon as the computer situation happened, I kind of came to that conclusion. Yeah, same. Just because I know how things go. Mm-hmm. And obviously I was going to continue to plan as if it was going to happen because...
That's how you should treat life.
But, at a certain point, it got to a point where it just couldn't. I wasn't going to take this. I wasn't going to take the workload of this album with me to college. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to take it with me to my next chapters in my life. Like, it seems like it wouldn't be proactive of me as an artist and as a creator to be writing about my life 2 years ago or a year ago or mm-hmm. even a few months ago from the perspective and insight that I have in my life right now. Because overall, like, my life just continues to just evolve and I continue to grow as an individual and as a person. And because I continue to evolve and grow as an individual and as a person, I can't write the same things that I would have written a year ago, 6 months ago. Because the same things just don't really line up.
That's one of the first things I said when you told me. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you've moved on from that plateau in your life. It would. I think the word I used was obscene. It would be obscene to try and like save this project that mm-hmm. is not something that creatively reflected you anymore. And you're not at the point of the Runaway Kid anymore, and it's kind of like Good Kid, Mad City vibes you had going with it. Mm-hmm. And you need to do something that reflects more of how your life is leaning toward. Mm-hmm. And also, you're in a period of change, which is something that must be chronicled after. So if you want to chronicle right now, it's going to take some time. But you're about to, as this period of change happens, you're going to move into a different plateau. Mm-hmm. And that is something that would be better to chronicle than something that is, long gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, better or for worse, my life is moving in a different direction mm-hmm. than it was in when I first started putting this album together.
What direction would you say you were moving in when you started putting that album together?
I think that it's interesting because my life, I feel like in terms of the plan of my life is kind of going according to plan, but my headspace was kind of just like, my headspace was more grounded in something. And it's not saying that I'm not grounded right now, but I'm in a transitional period.
Mm-hmm. That's how, as is everyone who's going to college right now.
And I can't really say that my life is in this, like, I'm not in the same headspace. You know, I was in a headspace where I felt like there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things that I feel that I want to express very specifically and very vividly. And because of the way that I kind of write music, even in storytelling, I write about how I feel in a particular moment.
That's what art is, I think.
Kind of try and do is capture who I am in a particular moment.
Capture an energy of time.
And I don't think that, and Hayden and I have always had this disagreement that I don't really think that we change as people, but I think that we evolve. And Hayden,
I think
like, I don't think people change. I think people just, you know,
I think people
move forward.
I think change, and I like the word evolve better than change, but I think that in a lot of people, if you were trying to compare a past version of themselves to a current version of themselves, one would hate the other. And I think genuinely, and this might just be for me as like a weird individual among 7 million people, but the way I think now, like I can feel in my head, and the way my brain works is different than it has been in the past. For me, because of the changes I've gone through in this past year, it's different than it was, 2 years ago, and it's way different than it was at the start of high school.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And I think because how I define a human, a person really, we are our consciousness to an extent. We are the thoughts. We are whatever our brains are, kind of whatever our brain creates as our consciousness, and combined with our memories and our biological predispositions. I think, well, physically, you might not change a lot, but actually, if you look at children becoming adults, they physically change a lot. But also mentally, we kind of can evolve or be reborn in a lot of aspects. Sometimes I think people evolve over time, and other times I think people can have a inciting incident that changes the fiber of who they are as a human being.
I think that's understandable. I feel like if I were to look at myself right now, I don't think that my past self would hate myself. I think that my past self would be surprised. I think that I'm the same person. I think the same personally.
But do you think the same?
I think I do.
Interesting.
I think that the way that I process things is the same, but I feel like the perspective with which I process things is different. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because your perspective changes as knowledge comes in. So I'd assume everyone's perspective changes. But for me, and this might just be me, but I've heard other people talk about things like this.
I feel like it's a case by case kind of thing too.
It could be, yeah.
Because some people, I feel like the way that I think and the way that I perceive the world, I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that because I spend a lot of time honestly trying to go back to how a big part of my journey in life right now is trying to get myself back to how I felt and like the way that I thought when I was 6 years old.
Interesting.
Because I feel like there was a lot more curiosity and a lot more openness.
I think that is like the antithesis of my life. Because I spend my entire life striving for a better future. Like, I understand that, part of me and part of my discomfort with my life earlier this year was I was trying to kind of create a feeling in time in which I had the year prior, an enlightened period, as I say to my therapist, and I recreating a feeling like that isn't really worth it, because that energy existed in that time, and to create something outside of its time would be unnatural and almost impossible. So I try to search for new emotions, new power, new enlightenment.
I think that's understandable. I feel like there are feelings that are familiar, and I feel like I feel more creative when I talk about how I thought when I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, before, it was roughly around the time period before I was super influenced by everything else around me. Before I was super focused on other people, and I was just kind of into a certain kind of space where I just wanted to do things. I just kind of wanted to, do.
So like how I am now.
I don't know. It's more like I was very much not really indifferent to other people, because I wasn't indifferent.
But you were in your own world.
I was in my own world, and I've never not been in my own world. Mm-hmm. Like, I've always been in my own world, but my world has over time gotten less kind of closed off.
It's like you're a planet that was like isolated in the universe for all of its development, and eventually a sentient species started space traveling, and now you're space traveling, interacting with other intelligences.
Yeah.
And now, like, it's an interconnected galaxy.
And I feel like my thing is that if I spend all my time away from my planet, then I kind of stop being me. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm trying to do is, obviously, I don't want to be who I was when I was 6. I know way more stuff. I think about way more stuff.
I hope you know way more stuff.
But I want to kind of take what I have and bring it back to the planet. Mm-hmm. Back to my world. Now, I'm not saying I want to live in my own world, but I think that I don't want to be so stuck on being interested in everything that everyone else is doing. And I feel like throughout there are a few things that bring me back to that point. When I stopped thinking that theater was weird and started doing it, and I realized that I really liked it, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Kind of feels like I'm coming back home to where I was at. And so I feel like that was part of... I feel like the further I get towards kind of realizing that, the farther away I get from things like the Runaway Kid. Because the Runaway Kid is like... The Runaway Kid is me trying to think the way that I think now. Mm-hmm. And it's not really the way that I think now, but it's me trying to think the way... Trying to think... It's me trying to be farther along than I am. Like, it's like I could write... Like, let's say I was driving from Chicago to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. It's about an hour.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, so let's say...
Let's go with 2 hours.
So I want to write about everything that I'm seeing in Chicago as if it's real time right now, right in front of me. But at the time that I'm writing it, I'm in the car on the way to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I'm close, and I feel like I'm closer to Milwaukee than I am to Chicago.
Yeah.
So I can't really write about it with the same clarity.
Mm-hmm. It's just from memory at that point.
So overall, just to kind of go over what happened, because I think I would have finished the album. Had the computer situation
Definitely
not happened,
possible.
I would have finished the album.
Definitely possible.
I feel confident in saying that I would have.
Mm-hmm. Especially with me helping you, because I'm more regimented and stuff like that.
Especially given the fact that we had summer.
Yeah.
Like, it could have definitely been done. I definitely was in a creative space when the whole situation happened. And if I'm in a creative space, like, at a certain point, there's a creative space where I know that the project's almost done. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a point where I was like that with Hunt. There was a point where I was like that with King of the World, and I felt like I was just entering that when everything kind of got like stopped in its tracks. But basically, my hard drive entered a failed state on my computer, and because my hard drive entered a failed state, I wasn't able to access any of my files. Then I decided to go about trying to get my files back, and I spent a good amount of time trying to do that. And so then it would be like, I got the files back, but now I don't have the instruments back. So then it's like, well, the instruments are in X place, but all the files on the place where the instruments are corrupted, so you have to do this and that. On top of that, I got a new computer, and so I'm almost got everything figured out, but then this computer doesn't have storage, so I have to return that computer to get a new computer. And at the same time as I'm doing that, I'm also trying to like make sure that my files are in the same place, because I'm still trying to extract files from a hard drive that's in a failed state, which is kind of a dangerous thing to do. Mm-hmm. And it's just a lot of back and forth with trying to just move everything around. So I wasn't really trying to reconstruct songs piece by piece, but I was trying to reconstruct my entire sound library piece by piece, because I do produce my own music. So it's not like I just re-download the beat and re-record the songs. It's not like I just have someone send them back to me. It's like I am doing all of this by hand. And so it's like if I had a sketchbook and the sketchbook got thrown in the ocean and I pulled it out before it like sank and all the pages disintegrated, like everything in the sketchbook's all watered down. And so in order for me to fix everything, I would have to go through trying to like pencil everything back in. And it just, I mean, that's a kind of a bad analogy for what happened, but ultimately it's like...
it started off really good and then it just got worse as it went on.
Yeah.
Just like the computer situation.
That's kind of how it was, yeah. And so ultimately it just got to a point where given how I was moving in terms of my creative space and given how everything was going, it got to a point where I very conclusively was like, this album will not be finished by the end of the summer, and I will not take it to college with me.
I think that is very fair.
And that's not to say I don't love some of the songs that I did. That's not to say that, because there are some people who creatively will move past things and will say, I won't listen to these songs. These songs are the old me. This is the new me. That's not from. I'm not gonna say that, because there are songs that I like. As of the moment that we're recording this right now, I'm set to release a song tomorrow that was a file that I had left over from the project that was on my phone. I had the MP3 on my phone, so I got the MP3 mastered, and I'm releasing it tonight. It's called Woah Woah, and it's one of my favorite songs it's probably my favorite song that I've ever recorded. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have other songs that I like a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna release those. I can't say conclusively.
Do I get engineering credits on Woah
Woah? You get writing credits on Woah Woah.
Didn't I engineer it though? Possibly when I remember in your room.
You pushed the space bar.
That's engineering.
I can go into the credits.
I'm just messing with you. I don't give a shit.
I mean, you do get writing credits though. You get writing credits because like there was a period where there were some words that were kind of moved around. On the song. And so, because those words got moved around and because that's kind of how it ended up going, you get writing credits for it.
Yay.
So, yeah, you're a writer. But I wrote the song, so don't think that I'm getting ghostwriters. No.
I'm a ghostwriter.
Nope.
See, once I say it on the internet, that means it's true. You know that, right?
Oh, shit. As of the time that you're listening to this, the song will have been out for a minute. Mm-hmm. So... if you've listened to the song and you don't understand the song, I'm gonna just take a second real quick to explain the song. And you cool putting the song at like the end? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can just throw it at the end so that they can hear it. If you haven't heard the song will play at the end of the episode. If you don't like rap music, then you can cut off the episode. But anyway, Woah Woah, in terms of the grand story arc of the album, represents the idea of arrogance. And I always like refer to the song kind of as like the mask, because that's what it is. So there are two halves of the song, and the first half is supposed to be like super brash and super aggressive and arrogant, and just like I always say, it's my supervillain theme song. Like if I was a supervillain, this would be what I would walk out with my minions to, and we would be like big and mighty and boom, boom, boom. And it has like a very marchy kind of feel to it.
Big and mighty and boom, boom, boom. How eloquently spoken.
It's basically how it is. And then halfway through the song, I kind of just kill that. And I focus on the idea that arrogance is fueled by insecurity, fueled by kind of like fear. And that was an idea that I was going to elaborate more on the project, but never really got a chance to. But I feel like the song ultimately in itself, and the reason I've decided to release it, the reason I decided to go forth with the release of this song is because I feel like the song speaks for itself more so than a lot of the songs on the project do. It's not very project focused. It's more focused on itself. And like a lot of the themes that I talked about on the project, like duality in itself, the idea of just kind of like introspection, which we're talking about on outrospection. Ooh. That was a bad joke. But I thought it was funny. Get it? Because outrospection is based on the word outrospection. It's not a real word. It's based on the word introspection. It is a real word. We're outrospecting my introspection.
Ha. Ha 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 ha.
Anyway,
ha 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 ha.
A lot of the themes and concepts. A lot of the.
Ha 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 ha.
A lot of the.
I am tickled. Ha 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 ha.
A lot of the themes and concepts presented on that song are are indicative of what I was trying to do with the project. And I feel like just in terms of the instrumental that I made, in terms of the lyrics that I put forth, it's just one of my best songs that I've ever done, and it's my favorite song that I've ever done. And as soon as I decided to scrap the project, like maybe 15 minutes after I made the announcement, I was like, shit, they're never gonna hear Woah Woah, and like I really want them to hear this song because I love it.
It took 15 minutes. I
was like, I felt really bad about it because I really wanted to share the song. So now, oh yeah, remember last episode when we said we were going to talk about cancel culture?
Yeah, I totally remember that. Wow, that's amazing.
Why did you say it like that?
Because I don't know.
Yeah, we said we were going to talk about cancel culture.
Because it's on a list behind me.
We may or may not talk about cancel culture, and I think that, we might as well just talk about
Well, we'll talk about it like we talked so in-depthly about fruit flies.
So cancel culture.
So cancel culture, you don't like cancel culture?
I don't like cancel culture.
Why don't you like cancel culture?
Because it feels like, it feels indicative of something that I don't really fuck with, which is like there's so much stuff that's like it feels like it's like such a harsh punishment for people. Like a lot of cancel culture is based on people saying stuff that's either ignorant. And, like, I'm not talking about cancel culture specifically. Right in this particular moment, I'm not specifically talking about people who are, like, get Me Too'd and stuff like that. I'm talking specifically about people who say things on the internet that I don't fuck with or that people don't fuck with, or that are tone deaf or ignorant or just I don't agree with. And a lot of people are very quick to cancel artists about stuff like that. But I feel like, and this isn't to, like, justify people saying things that aren't good, because there are some things that I feel like are better left unsaid personally, but it's not gonna. I feel like I'm personally like. We live in such a politically correct climate right now that's so very, 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 very focused on making sure that everything that someone says is from a certain point of view. That people say is from a certain point of view, and if it's not. If anything deviates from that, then people will attack it and kill it with fire. And I think that ultimately a big piece of what I believe is that we need people to believe shit that we don't believe. Or we need people to say shit that we don't believe. We need people to be ignorant because people won't know shit if they're not ignorant. We need people to... No, think about it. If people are ignorant and they never say anything... Like
they can't be corrected.
Yeah, I feel like to cancel people who don't for people who don't understand, I feel like to cancel them is a harsh punishment. For people who do understand, I feel like to cancel them based on a difference of opinion is kind of unfair.
Interesting.
What's your thought?
Well, I see it like this. I think cancel culture in and of itself, like blanket, like there's a new person that's canceled every week or whatever. I don't follow that enough to do it, but I know me personally, when I see something that I don't like, I remember it. And it's not that the phrase cancel culture doesn't really work for me, I guess, because if I don't like something, I just don't do it. And I think that you should, I think as individuals, as people, you should make decisions on what entertainment you consume based on, your personal beliefs, I guess, with stuff like that. And instead of just like hopping on a hate train and hating someone because that's what like is trending on Twitter, what I would do is I would, look at it. What do you think? If you don't want to do it, if you don't want to if you don't want to supply that person with means to do what they want to do because you don't agree with it, then you don't have to. But, I guess I'm against the culture of canceling things as like a trend. But I am definitely okay with if you don't like what someone says, you don't have to listen to them.
I'm not saying that they have to. I just feel like it feels like limiting. Like if you're gonna if you don't listen, I feel like if you don't listen to music because you don't like the music, that's one thing. But if you don't listen to certain music, personally, this is just my personal opinion. If you're not listening to music because you feel a type of way about something that they said at some point, I feel like that's just kind of limiting, personally.
I mean, I don't. For me, I don't really care. I guess if it's limiting.
I mean, but you also aren't really a consumer of new content in the same way.
That's true.
I feel like for people who want to consume new music and want to consume what's happening and be like with what's happening in terms of music and with the way that music develops and kind of happens, and not just music, but just like entertainment and how it happens. But then cut themselves off from entertainers that are making music that they would enjoy because of something that they said that they don't agree with. I feel like it just seems, because then people will go on Twitter and complain about like, there's no new music, there's no good music. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have nothing else to say about cancel culture. I ultimately, what it comes down to is, it's not going to stop me. Daniel Caesar says some stuff that people didn't like. I saw what he said. I understand his perspective. It's a little bit different from mine. This is just the example. I can't really get into what he said.
I don't even know what this is.
Daniel Caesar's an artist. He said some stuff that I didn't agree with.
So
personally.
Just along what lines?
Basically, it was just like, why are people so mad at white people? Like, white people, let's just, like, why don't we all just be friends? Mm-hmm. And it was kind of tone deaf the way he said it.
Okay, yeah.
But dude, like, Daniel Caesar makes such good music. And that's not, and he said a thing that was kind of, people were like, cancel Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar makes really good music. Really, really good music. Really, really, like, some of the best music that's out of this generation.
So you would say, there's people who, like, I'm a person who will be like, fuck Thomas Jefferson, because Thomas Jefferson was, like, a rapist and a slave owner, right? Mm. But a lot of people are like, but he, also was a founding father, and,
Not necessarily. I mean, look, I feel like...
No, can I finish? Oh. People like that, like George Washington, also a slave owner. And the people, like me, I'm like, yeah, they're an asshole. And I definitely wouldn't want to see him face to face, and I think they're serving time in hell for their crimes. But some people argue, but they were still so important to history, we wouldn't have the world we have today without them. And, we wouldn't have the rights and freedoms that people now enjoy. And I think that you can do both. I think you can enjoy the fruits of their labor, I guess, while also realizing they're a dick. Mm. But I think if you don't like what someone said, you don't have to listen to them.
On top of that, though, it's also like people will get canceled for saying one thing, and I feel like one thing isn't enough for me personally, because it's like you said one thing that I don't vibe with. And and that's going to make me decide I'm not going to consume any of your stuff. Like, nah, dog. Like, you're probably, a lot of people are going to say stuff that I don't vibe with in life. Like, I know that I wouldn't cancel people for saying stuff I don't vibe with. And that's just me. I'll have conversations.
But certain things you will cancel people for.
Like what?
If some white supremacist came up to you.
If you're a white supremacist, you're not saying one thing that I don't vibe with. You're saying a bunch of things that I don't vibe with.
What if they only made one point to you?
If they only made one point to me, but do I know they're a white supremacist?
No.
No, I don't know they're a white supremacist? Well, then I'll have a conversation with them and probably find out that they're a white supremacist.
Okay. I guess I kind of get what you're saying. You want people to interpret.
I want people to... I feel like people having different opinions is good. Because... I agree. And I'm a pretty liberal dude. I have a pretty liberal mindset, but I feel like you can't really be a liberal if there's not conservatives.
Well, yeah, and part of liberalism is allowing people to express their opinions.
Yeah, like, we can't like, everyone should have opinions. Everyone should have the right to have opinions. People are going to have different opinions based on what they are exposed to. Mm-hmm. Daniel Caesar, for example, same way he said about white people. Daniel Caesar lives in Canada. He's from Canada. So he doesn't experience the same thing that Black Americans go through. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say there's not racism in Canada, because there is. But Black Americans go through a different thing. I can't say what Black Canadians go through, but they go through a different thing than we go through. So his understanding from where he's from and from where he is different than my understanding. Mm-hmm. And so I can't be mad. So to not understand that when people are going to cancel people is not really fair, in my opinion. I feel like everyone has a right to their opinions. And if you're a white supremacist, even, And I don't vibe with that at all. I'm not saying it's okay to be a white supremacist.
I think you should also challenge your own opinions.
I think that, yeah, I feel like you can't, but I feel like you're not inclined to challenge your own opinions if there's no one to challenge them.
That is true.
You know, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I feel like there's ways to have these conversations, and I feel like to say I'm just gonna shun you for saying something I don't like isn't really the way to challenge that kind of opinion.
How do you feel about actions, though?
Like what kind of actions? Like sexual assault and stuff like that?
Sure. Or if you go for like the whole James Charles thing when he was trying to force straight men into having sex with him, apparently.
I have no idea what happened with the James Charles thing.
Yeah, now everyone's cool with him, apparently.
Yeah. That's the other thing I don't like about cancel culture is that people aren't really about the cause.
No, they just hop on the hype.
If you're going to not cancel, if you're going to be about cancel culture, right? If you're actually going to be about it, then
not even if you're about cancel. If you're gonna be like, I'm not okay with the way a person is acting, follow fucking through with it at least.
Yeah, and then on top of that, people will be like, I'll cancel this person that I don't listen to, but I won't cancel this person that I do listen to.
Yeah, just be like me and cancel everyone.
You gotta cancel everyone if you're gonna cancel someone.
That is true.
You can't be picky choosy about that. Like if Hayden were to say the N-word and some shit, and another white dude were to also come up to me and say the N-word, and I slapped that one white dude, but
you have to slap Hayden too.
I have to slap Hayden too, mm-hmm. Because I can't. I can't not. Like that would be like what? Because I like Hayden. Like, nah, dude. Like, I'm like this. Like, I'm not gonna. You got to be objective about these.
Can I take this off on a weird limb? Mm-hmm. What do you think you could say that I would be allowed to slap you for?
I feel like there are.
Just give me the first example that comes in your head. Would you think? What could you say that I could slap you for? Because you could slap me and I'd be like, yeah, I deserve it for saying the N-word.
A lot of things that I can't talk about on the podcast.
You can just list an example.
An example?
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to talk shit about, I feel like the things that come to mind for me is if I were to say some shit about situations that you've been through in your life in a way that was insensitive, then I would expect to get slapped.
All right, I can see that. Like, what is there a word that you could say that I could slap you for?
I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I mean, there are plenty of words that you can slap me for, but I feel
but
like
that you deserve.
That I would deserve?
Uh-huh.
No.
But we don't really have a slapping kind of friendship, do we?
We don't really have a slapping kind of friendship because we don't really do a lot of slap-worthy things.
I don't do a lot of slap-worthy things. But you don't get, like, your bad slaps. You get, like, are you fucking serious slaps? Mm-hmm. Like, but I sometimes deserve are you fucking serious slaps. Yeah. But I slap myself, so it's all okay.
Regardless, in terms of actions, back to what you said. Yeah. I'm going to definitely challenge. I feel like ultimately I feel kind of differently about that. I feel like I'm not quick to, if I enjoy content, I'm not quick to not enjoy the content. If I'm not exposed to content, like I don't listen to R. Kelly. I'm not going to start listening to R. Kelly. I don't really have.
Oh, I have a terrible question for you.
What's the question?
So you don't. So wait. So you don't listen to R. Kelly? No. Would you listen to R. Kelly now, even if you found something you liked?
I'm less inclined to find something that I like, but if I did, I would.
Okay, because my question would be if you canceled R. Kelly.
I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not really.
But if you did,
I'd cancel someone if they did something to me personally. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that what he did was okay, but and I think this is selfish, admittedly, but I'm very much going to consume content that I very much want to consume.
So if Hitler was a good artist,
would
you still enjoy his art?
You broke the rule.
I did break the rule.
You broke the rule.
I did.
You broke the fucking rule, Hayden. You can't do that.
If Mussolini was a good artist,
no, Hayden, you can't do this. We've gone too deep.
All right,
reel
I'll reel it back. This is a genuine question. All right, if
people like Charles Manson's music,
but those people have so many other. All right, I'm not even gonna get into that.
I think we can't generalize.
That's why I'm just gonna.
There are Charles Manson fans.
I'm gonna move.
I've listened to some Charles Manson songs.
I'm gonna move right on past this and get to my question. do you think, would you, yes or no, still listen to someone or still enjoy someone's creative work if they had done something that's a crime against humanity, yes or no?
Well, if you're the person that's committing crimes against humanity, your creative output probably isn't gonna really interest me.
But like, if someone now,
like if someone now would,
so if Kanye West started executing all Latino people for whatever reason,
that would be crazy.
Would you still listen to Kanye West?
So crazy. Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the music has such an impact on my life. Yeah, probably. I probably would.
What if it was someone who you kind of like?
Who I kind of like?
Mm-hmm.
Like whom?
If 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz? Oh,
if 2 Chainz started killing all Latino people.
I probably wouldn't be quick to cut it on, but I probably wouldn't be quick to cut it off either.
Really? So I am like the exact opposite of that, because like
I'm so like I'm not really a canceler, dude. Like I'm not like that's how, because that's kind of how I feel about R. Kelly. I'm not quick to cut on R. Kelly.
Yeah, but see now
but like the Cosby Show, for example, I will watch the Cosby. I would put on the Cosby Show. That's a great show.
But see now, the thing is with me is that for to especially if like you're streaming it or buying it for whatever reason, I could never like put money towards something like that. Like I would never buy it. Like I did, even if the Cosby Show was like the holy grail of television,
well,
I wouldn't put money toward it.
Here's the thing about cancel culture in this particular thing is I'm not against this kind of cancel culture. If people are like, I will not listen to R. Kelly, I will not watch the Cosby Show, all these certain things, I 100% agree, I'm 100% in support of that. I'm gonna continue to watch the Cosby Show.
So want me to really fuck with your opinions here?
Yeah, sure.
So if someone cancels Michael Jackson, based on the evidence that they have,
I think that people need to have more conversations about that.
All right.
I feel like I want to be super informed about everything. If you don't know my opinion, I'm not going to get super into it right now.
You already gave your opinion on a previous episode. Yeah. Michael doesn't believe Michael.
I don't think Michael Jackson did it.
Yeah.
And I think that if you think Michael Jackson did it, if you really think in your heart of hearts that Michael Jackson did what they said he did, which I can see why you would, and that's the reason you don't want to listen to Michael Jackson, then don't listen to Michael Jackson.
All right. Have I canceled anything?
Probably.
I don't think I listen to enough, or I don't think I consume enough media from like people that I could think would do like terrible things. Like Prince did some like not good as like a human being, like not like he was a bad person, but like he just didn't treat people always the best way. But not like anything really bad, like super super bad. He was just kind of an asshole. But I think if it came out like that there was bad stuff, I would definitely have to question it.
There's one thing to question, it's another thing to do it.
But the questioning could very easily lead to me doing it. I think with me, what makes me different is that I can never cut the one thing out. But
if it came out that Prince said some shit that you just didn't fuck with?
Prince already said some shit I didn't fuck with. He was Jehovah's Witness. It's not that I have anything against Jehovah's Witnesses. I really don't. I'm actually very fascinated by that faith system. But you know, I don't follow it, so it's stuff that I don't believe.
Understandable. This has been I Would Die For You.
This has been I Would Die For You. Part 1 of 3.
Part 1 of 3. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Is there anybody out there? Anybody fucking with the levels? I ain't seen them. You tryna be the king, nigga? No, no. Hey, only nigga on my team. Don't make me go omnipresent. Why you moving like peasants? I move like a king. Now tell me, who fucking with me? Who? Nobody fucking with me in my element. Why is you trying it? Thinking you lions and tigers, you kittens, you pussies, ain't nobody buying it. No, I arrive, I had better hear fanfare. Where the trumpets, the violence. I'm the antidote to vile men. I'm a prophet, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Holy shit, welcome his holiness. Broke down the levee, he flowing like holy water. Holy moly, master ceremonies, killing lyricisms, call it holy slaughter. You are witnessing the holy grail. They used to call that boy a holy terror. They don't think I'll start the holy era. They don't think that I could be the pharaoh. But he took your blood to be Jehovah, right? Holy Ghost, you more like poltergeist. I'm too massive for the masses. I'll blast off for you assholes. Nigga, I am in a masterclass. My nigga ask about me, might ask the rash. I might bash you bitches. Once apathetic, lackadaisy bastard rap meets his master. I'll have them gasping like, whoa, whoa. Is there anybody out there? Anybody fucking with the levels? I ain't seen them. You tryna be the king, nigga? No. Hey, only nigga on my team. Don't make me go omnipresent while you moving like peasants. I move like a king. Now tell me who fucking with me? Nobody fucking with me in my element. Why is you trying it? Thinking you lions and tigers, you kittens, you pussies, ain't nobody buying it. When I arrive, I had better hear fanfare. Where the trumpets, the violence. I'm the antidote to vile men. I'm a prophet, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Y'all must be out for the rock if you think you fucking with Rashad. With me. Last year I was trying to be king of the world. Now I'm trying to be a god. Holy Jesus, hell is freezing over. 3 below anemic. Holy ghosts and demons smoking dope and scheming. Had them sleepy dreaming till they woke up screaming, what's real? Anything other than myself is a lie. Bitch, I am nothing if I'm not divine. Ice in my veins, genius in my mind. You pray for the light, I landed from the sky. You could only dream of reaching this high. Fuck with me, you couldn't be me if you tried. Fuck with me, you can never touch the vibe. I'm in this element until I die. Lately I've been out of my element, second guessing every effort, obsessively yelling, woe is me, woe is me, whoa, 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 woe is me, woe is me, whoa, 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 woe is me, whoa, 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 whoa. If I'm a god and this is deicide, free the demons from my mind and let me be alive. It's been a minute since I seen the sky, and lately I've been acting like a giant trying to reach the high, yelling nigga feet 5-4, fuck everything. Let go of my better judgment and just saying anything. Cloudy skies and my eyes looking kinda hazy, then the storm arrives and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. Well, who's to say I don't pull sanity from insanity? That I don't pull humility from vanity? That I don't pull clarity from illusion? That I don't pull reality from delusion? Who's to say I'm a human? I told you I was a god. Maybe that's a facade, or maybe I hate being Rashad. Lately the man in the mirror is unfamiliar, and even worse, he's staring back at me like, who are you, nigga? I used to know that nigga, now when I look in his eyes, I see biblical pride, cyanide and Mr. Hyde. I wish he died sometimes and take me to amazing grace, far away from all the hateful craziness. It's nothing but a masquerade. Everybody knows that nigga Gaston's just a brash asshole dickhead with a mask on his fake, smoking mirrors to cover his face. And if he's real, then let me live in an altered state. Fill up a spliff with thin air and inhale truth. Then let me breathe reality, soothing my duality. Peel back the mask and reveal I'm backtracking the days when I felt trapped in myself, praying to run away. I wanna see the light, wanna feel the sun in the sky. I wanna be high as heaven, I'm trapped inside of this hell. I'm scared that if I run away from everything that makes me that pretentious piece of shit, then I'll be running from my fucking self. Whoa.